Caitlin Clark just accomplished something in 41 games that took Diana Taurasi 565 games to accomplish. Let that sink in. The rookie to sophomore leap we're witnessing may be unprecedented in professional basketball history. There is a triple, and while everyone is talking about her triple-double, there are actually 11 instead. The Indiana Fever and Bria are the focus of attention throughout the state, the nation, and the world. This is going to be a lot of fun. Records from that game that Clark and the Indiana Fever broke. I've examined every minute of the Fever's thumping of the Chicago Sky, and what I discovered will leave you stunned. Caitlin Clark's triple-double was only the start of a night that forever altered the WNBA record books. If you're a fan of Indiana, leave a comment below, and let's go see how the Fever organization has evolved into what it is today. There's been a lot of excitement. Though everyone's eyes were on Caitlin Clark that night, something truly historic happened that nearly went unnoticed. Dana Bonner walked onto the court just 7 points away from basketball immortality. Think about that. 15 years of professional excellence, thousands of baskets, and now standing on the verge of becoming the third highest scorer in basketball history. You've done a great job in training camp leading up to this moment. Enjoy it, okay? With all the Fever mania going on, the question that hung in the air as the game against Chicago started was whether anyone would even notice that DeWanna Bonner, the fourth leading scorer in WNBA history, would likely move into third place in her first game with the Fever. She is currently only 6 points behind Tina Thompson for third place on the all-time scoring charts. In the final quarter, DeWanna Bonner was sent to the free throw line to make 2 shots. The first one swished in, tying the record in front of an enthusiastic audience, and the second one pushed her past 7,488 career points, making her just the player who has passed Tina Thompson on the all-time list. Bonner, who knocks it away, Cookies TV open right side, and she lays it in. Potter is the third player in the WNBA's 28-year history to reach this scoring peak. One more free throw is in the air, and it's good. Potter is currently third in the WNBA's history with 7,489 points in total. Here's the applause for Bonner, whose accomplishment is all the more remarkable because she has changed the culture of the Fever. She isn't just an aging star pursuing personal glory. She is a 6-time All-Star with 2 championships who brings. It's fun to have been around here for about a month just to get to learn from her and absorb it, and I'm really happy she got to do it at the Hall of Fame. Win DNA to a young roster in dire need of direction when she speaks in the locker room to players like Clark Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hall. Listen, you know, DB is someone, you know, Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, but a great person and a great leader. When the PA announcer announced the milestone, the Indiana crowd gave her a standing ovation, demonstrating that even in this age of viral highlights and young superstars, basketball fans still recognize greatness that spans decades. Bonner's ascent to become the third all-time leading scorer wasn't just a personal accomplishment, it set the tone for the game, free throw line, and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she definitely deserved that moment. As amazing as her accomplishment was, the night was just beginning when another Fever star was set to remind everyone why Indiana's future appears so frighteningly bright. Remember when people wondered if Aaliyah Boston could truly dominate, especially against fellow South Carolina alumnus Camilla Cardoso, who stands at 7,696 points for second place on the all-time list, a night that would turn out to be a night of record-breaking performances. Boston started her third season with something to show that she wasn't just looking to be a great player, but also wanted to establish herself as a franchise cornerstone alongside Clark. 6'7", those critics got their answer in the most forceful way possible against the Chicago Sky. All right, y'all, good stuff. Okay, I thought our defense was really good. When we had lapses, we played through possessions, all right, so we made things happen. Chicago front court came in full force, and the 2 players who would dominate Indiana for the next 10 years laid the groundwork for something special to happen in Indianapolis. Angel Reese had been talking about dominating the paint against Boston on Instagram and in press conferences. And even during warm-up, she made it clear that she thought she would own the matchup. Boston's response was a defensive masterclass that left Jaws on the floor with 5 blocks that sent Sky players' shots flying into the air. Boston's defensive dominance moved her to 6th in blocks in Fever history, and those 13 rebounds weren't just impressive. They were historic. In just her 3rd season, Boston's performance moved her to 8th in rebounds in Fever franchise history. The kind of rejections that had fans jumping out of their seats and pointing at the scoreboard every time Reese went up for a shot made Boston seem like they were waiting. Boston's 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks put her in a truly unique position. She became only the 2nd player in WNBA history to record 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in a season opener after Natasha Howard in 2014, a feat that is uncommon for any player, much less one in her 3rd year. Well done, Leah Boston, for having those long arms that go up multiple times. The Fever has been in the top 10 all time. When Chicago thought they had a lane to the basket, Boston slammed the door shut. Reese managed 17 rebounds, but her offensive game suffered greatly. She shot just 5 for 14 from the field and struggled to score over Boston's perfectly timed games. Afterward, the Clark-Boston connection showed perfect chemistry all night long. Clark kept finding her big for easy buckets with a high-low pass here and a perfectly timed bounce pass there. The highly anticipated game ended up being a clinic on defensive positioning and timing, but the most astounding display of defensive genius occurred when Boston and a teammate set a record never before seen in WNBA opening night history. This partnership would force guards and scoring wings all over the league to reconsider how they attacked the Indiana defense. What Caitlin Clark did against the Sky wasn't just, nobody has ever done what she did in that season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, or Cheryl Swoops in the 28-year history of the WNBA. The Fever are playing the Chicago Sky this season, and I'd say that they are back and ready to go in 2025. We saw record crowds last season, and after breaking 62 records, Clark entered her sophomore season with enormous expectations. Fans wondered what she would do for an encore during her rookie season when she turned the Indiana Fever from a lottery team to a playoff contender. However, no one saw what was going to happen against the Chicago Sky. And I have 3 words: oh my God. As you may already be aware, Clark was already on fire early in the game. She hit a logo 3 in the first few minutes, the type of shot that makes defenders shake their heads, and the ball hardly touched the net as Clark began seeing passing lanes that no one else could see, threading needles with passes that seemed impossible. She grabbed rebounds over taller players, out-jumping them with perfect timing, but most surprisingly, she blocked shots like never before. I know it wasn't the first time in your career, but you had 4 blocks out. That was just the beginning of her play. Her 4 blocks set a career high and became the most blocks by a point guard in a season opener in WNBA history, shocking everyone who believed defense was her weakness. That's more than you've ever had in college games, and your WNBA career high felt like you were channeling the spirit of Gabby Marshall out there with the blocks. Is that a part of your game that you've been working on the postseason? Are we going to see more blocks out of you as your career progresses? The Clark-Boston connection peaked when they combined for 9 blocks, the most of any duo in a season-opening game in league history. Think about that, a point guard and center combining for 9 blocks. That's the kind of defensive impact typically reserved for Twin Towers front courts, not a guard-center pairing. It's not really something you can work on. I don't know. I don't think any of those blocks were particularly obvious, but when you look at the stat sheet, it's like, oh, wow, 4. But, you know, that you can get your hands on there and help your teammate out if it makes a huge difference. I had some pokes when our post players were playing good defense, and the coaching staff just challenged me to try to be a better defender every practice and just getting better in that area. As the fourth quarter started, the crowd was on the edge of their seats as Clark chased the first ever 20-point tennis, a rebound, 10 assist, triple-double in a season opener. Every time she passed the ball, they held their breath, watching to see if she would grab the board. With less than 5 minutes remaining, Clark secured her 10th assist on a perfect pass to Aaliyah Boston for a mid-range basket. She needed just 2 assists and 1 rebound to make history. Clark's 20-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist performance wasn't just her third career triple-double, it also put her third on the all-time triple-double list, making her the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 3 career triple-doubles in just 41 games. The crowd erupted as the jumper returned to the game minutes later to grab her 10th rebound, sending the arena into complete chaos. Everyone knew that history had been made. Let's circle for the second most 20-point triple-doubles ever, but the most astounding statistic demonstrates how quickly Clark is rewriting the record book. She now has 9 games with 20 points or more and 10 assists, which puts her second all-time behind Courtney Vanderloot. What's even more amazing is that she accomplished this in just 41 games, whereas Diana Taurasi also needed 565 games to reach that mark. The difference between Clark and every other player in this league is that she needed 430 games to reach 10 such performances. What it takes other players their entire careers to do, she's doing in her first 41 games. She's not only breaking records, but she's also destroying our perception of what a professional basketball player can achieve. If Clark keeps up even a small portion of this pace, she will break every significant WNBA point. We came to watch Caitlin Clark play because she is a superstar, not just a female superstar, but a superstar. What we just saw against the Sky isn't just a win, it's the beginning of a dynasty that could dominate women's basketball for the next 10 years. The Fever's 35-point thumping of Chicago is more than just a routine victory. It demonstrates what happens when generational talents come together at the right time. And this wasn't just any blowout. It was the second largest win margin in Indiana Fever history. Although some may write this off as a single game, the statistics reveal more about what's truly going on in Indiana. 11 records broken in one night isn't an anomaly. Rather, it's a warning to the rest of the league. She just did everything she could to become an attention getter, and playing basketball and watching her play, the Clark-Boston connection is developing more quickly than anyone expected. Their combined 9 blocks show that they're developing two-ways chemistry that goes beyond scoring. The defensive partnership wasn't supposed to happen this quickly. Most experts predicted it would take years for them to develop this level of court awareness together. She is an icon for sports fans, especially young girls, and mine as well. Instead, they are already setting records together. This roster has an unheard of balance. A third-year dominant big man in Boston is already moving up the franchise record books. Veterans with championship and extensive playoff experience like Bonner Howard, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner, and Sophie Cunningham provide leadership, and young players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall are entering their prime. Clark, a sophomore star, is breaking records at a pace never seen before. What did the kids say? Belt to ass? Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym. The Chicago Sky. The regular season has arrived, and we have no more time for flirting with people. It's time to get serious about our business. Caitlin Clark handled her business. Game 1, 20,110 and 10-20-10. The Fever are making it look easy. This isn't just about one record-breaking night. It's about witnessing the formation of a team that could redefine WNBA basketball and bring multiple championships to Indiana. When you watch how quickly this team is gelling, it's hard not to get excited. The spacing is perfect. The defensive rotations are crisp, and the ball movement is exceptional. The most exciting part is that Clark-Boston, this Fever team, are just getting started, and the rest of the league should be afraid of what comes next if they're breaking 11 records in one night. But what happens when they really hit their stride, when the team reaches peak chemistry? This isn't just a good team having a good night, it's something special. Watching the early Chicago Bulls before their championship runs allows you to feel like the foundation is being laid for something special. the start of something historic in women's basketball, and the difference between the Fever and the rest of the league will only get wider from here. The Indiana Fever defeated the Chicago Sky by 35 points, the second largest margin of victory in the team's history. When a team breaks 11 records in one night, you're not just watching basketball, you're watching history happen. The question is not whether Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and the Indiana Fever will break any more records this season, but rather how many more they will break before they're done. If you're doing well with Indiana, leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and turn on all alerts to ensure you don't miss anything